time for your daily dose of coffee, so grab your favorite cup and get ready to learn a few art tips while you sip. Now, last season we talked a little bit about how writing could be incorporated into your art block. This season will focus more on incorporating both reading and writing to deepen the connection to visual arts. Now, in today's episode, we're going to discuss ways to increase the volume of writing your students produce for their artist statements. This is geared more towards upper elementary, but can definitely be differentiated to meet the needs of middle and high school students and all students. As you can see, I'm standing in front of a great resource that my students use in the art room. It helps them with their writing. It gives them synonyms of words to say. Instead of saying happy, sad, they have a nice word list that they can use. Now let's talk a little bit about setup and the prep work you'll need to do. If you choose to give a guide to your students to assist them with writing their artist statements, I would suggest creating a class set of guides and laminating them. That way you don't have to make multiple copies for all of your students. The set I created is on cardstock, and students know not to write on them. You'll also want to gather some notebook paper, which could be donated by the language arts teachers, and I'm sure they won't mind, especially if you're getting students to write more in the art studio. Or you could always just go pick up some from the Dollar Tree. Now, the artist statements that I have my students write focus on 4 areas: description, process, goals, and theme. Now, of course, you could change this to meet the needs of your students, but I personally selected these areas to focus on to mirror some of what upper elementary focuses on in writing. Now, I did adapt some essential questions from the Art of Education to help guide the thinking of my students. I also included sentence stems to help support their writing. Now, once you have your class set of the artist statement guides and your notebook paper, and of course your art, you're ready to go. Now, with anything you introduce to your artist, you have to make sure you model. They need to see how it works. So for this process, I use a completed piece of my own artwork. I model what I'm going to write using a think aloud, and students follow along and assist me through interactive writing. Now, if you're wondering what a think aloud is, it's basically what it says. You're saying aloud what you are thinking so that the students can hear the process that they should go through in their head while they're writing their artist statements. Now, the guide is pretty simple, but you still want to take them through each section because, again, you want to model for them what they should do. Now, on the left side of the guide, it has the essential questions to help guide their thinking and their writing. The right side of the guide has the sentence stems that correlate with the essential questions of the guide, and this aids them as well in writing complete sentences for their artist statements. After we've gone through each section of the artist statement guide, I release them to begin doing their own statements back at their tables. Now let's talk a little bit about the amount of time this takes and where I have students complete this for the first time. Now, usually it takes about 6 to 10 minutes for us to go through each section of the artist statement guide together as I model my think alouds and they assist me through interactive writing. I would suggest this being a warm-up to your class period on a day when you know the majority of your class will finish their project or be ready to write their statements directly after you finish the warm-up. You could also complete it as a closure piece to teach into what they will be doing the following class period. While I'm introducing writing my artist statements for the first time, I have my students sitting at the meeting area with their drawing boards, sketchbook, and a piece of artwork, whether it's finished or unfinished. That way they can see their artwork and begin to decide what they will write. I hope you enjoyed today's Daily Dose of Coffee and learned a few art tips about writing your artist statements in the studio. Be sure to follow me on Twitter at classroom_clips and check back next month for more art tips while you sip. Have a great day.